Hey, how are you doing? Bill Deweese here from voice-over-training.org. And this is a follow-up to an earlier video that I did regarding setting voiceover rates and your value as a voiceover talent. And what I'd like to do in this video is to expand upon the concept of value within a business context so you can begin to understand what value is and how value drives price and some of the factors that are involved in value. And it goes much broader. It's a much bigger issue than price alone. And I feel that I'm somebody that's qualified to contribute to the conversation because, I've been that person who used to average making several $100s a week to now I average $5,000 a week of income as a voiceover talent. Somebody who's done work at all levels and including a project that actually just this week, a 3-second tag to a commercial which paid multiple 5 figures. So I've experienced the lower end and the frustration, and I've also experienced the higher end and the elation of the big payoff. But it all boils down to that concept of value. Now, what is your value as a voiceover talent? And I think the first thing to keep in mind is that your value as a voiceover talent is a completely separate issue from your value as a human being. You as a human being are infinitely valuable. Nobody could even begin to place a number on your value as a person. However, as a voice talent, that's a completely different issue. People do place a number on it. And ultimately, it's the value that the purchaser places on it that matters. Let me give you a couple for instances. I grew up loving baseball, played some Little League baseball, Pony League baseball, and I dreamed of being, probably as most young boys, dreamed of being a professional baseball player. Prepared, trained, played, loved the sport, and certainly dedicated myself to it, at least to a certain level as a young kid, as much as I could as a younger guy. But my value to a professional baseball team at that point in my life and today amounted to a big fat goose egg. And you could quantify that. My value to a major league sports franchise, any sports, baseball or any sports, is absolutely zero because I don't have the skill set, for one, and which is the biggest thing within, if you're playing professional sports. They can easily quantify my value. It is zero. It doesn't matter how much I've trained. It doesn't matter how good I think I am. The fact is they will set my value as zero. I cannot make any money as a professional athlete at any level in any sport. Let me give you another example. The real estate market. If you've ever bought or sold a home, let's say you're selling your home, as a real estate seller that you place a certain value on your home. You know what you think it's worth, and obviously there are market factors that play into you setting a price. But ultimately, it's not you that decides the value of your home. It's the market. It's the purchaser. You can set whatever price you want, but it's the purchaser who ultimately will lay the money down, and you can decide whether you'll accept it or not. But again, the market decides the value. So let's talk about this crazy concept of value, because what I want you to understand, and I think you should get all the training you can. I think you should work and prepare, obviously, as hard as you can. But simply, by the fact that you work hard and you train hard does not necessarily, or at least in and of itself, add value to you, to the client. And it's about perceived value. It's what somebody perceives you to be worth and what they're willing to pay. So let's talk about some of those factors so that you can ultimately increase your value in the marketplace and be able to go from making multiple hundreds of dollars a week maybe to multiple thousands of dollars a week and or beyond. So what are those factors? Well, I touched base on a couple of them. Certainly, training and preparation can add value, and hopefully it does. Not so much in the marketing aspect, saying that, hey, I was trained by such and such. Most clients really could care less about that. What they want to know is what you're able to deliver. So it's your skill level. It's your ability to work with their script. In other words, you might be more valuable doing audiobook narration than your value as a commercial voiceover talent, or you might have more value as a movie trailer person than as an audiobook person. And again, the market will determine what your value is in each of those cases. But your value may be different based on the market and on your particular skill set. So that's one factor. Also, another factor with perceived value, or something that can enhance your perceived value, is your experience and your credits. once you begin to work for name brand companies, it's always good to use those in your marketing efforts, on your website or in your email signature, because people don't want to make the big mistake when they're hiring voiceover talent. And to know that you work for a major brand eases their mind, lets them know that you have a certain level of credibility, and it makes it easier for them to purchase your services because another equally reputable and large brand has put their trust in you, which makes it easier for them, that client, to put their trust in you. So that builds into it. Another thing that contributes to your value is that once you've worked for a client, that you've been able to provide them with the level of service that they need and expect in terms of quality, in terms of timeliness. Another issue is that helps to determine value is the ease of working with you. Are you difficult to work with? Do you create hurdles? Are you slow in responding with communication? There are a number of things, and that's the thing that I want you to begin to think about. There are a number of things that feed into this equation of building your value. And when you first start off, it's very difficult, if not near impossible, to, like, for instance, this job that I just mentioned, this commercial tag, which paid me multiple 5 figures. It took me 8 years. And although I didn't get that job the first week I started, not even the first year I started, and I've done a lot, I've done plenty of national ads, but nothing quite at this scale. But this came through a relationship, through a client, through an agent that I've had for probably 6 years. It took me about 4 years to get my first job through this agent. And then through being able to meet expectations and develop the relationship, my value in the eyes of the agent began to increase and to grow. My stock rose, so to speak. And once it had risen to a certain level, they were comfortable and felt confident in pitching me to one of the largest brands in the world. And therefore, I was able to land the job. But again, it's all a function of value. And again, if you take nothing else away from this, understand this: value ultimately isn't determined by you. You can do things that help to increase your value, but ultimately it's what the client is willing to pay. Just like if you're selling your house, it's what the buyer ultimately is willing to buy it for. You can choose not to sell it, but you may want $300,000, but the market's not going to give you more than $275,000, as an example. Again, I can want to be a baseball player or a professional golfer. I'm passionate about golf. I've trained. I've had lessons. I've spent hours improving my game. My value on the PGA Tour is zero, even though as a human being, my value is infinite. I hope you're beginning to understand where I'm going with this. I want to encourage you to hang in there. And even though, nobody, when you first start especially, people may not offer you a huge payday for jobs. Now, occasionally, hey, maybe so. But you're going to have to work to be able to increase your value to prospective and existing clients through the quality of your work, through the quality and frequency of your communication, through the service that you deliver, through the experience that you accumulate, so that you can ensure and reassure your clients that other people trust you as well. All of these things build perceived value in the mind of the client. So I encourage you to have patience. It's a game of patience, even though there's plenty. There's lots of work out there, and you can make a good living in a relatively short amount of time if you're willing to do the proper work. But as you cultivate these relationships and build your value, you will only see your income continue to rise. So again, it's all about value, and value is not as simple as saying I'm worth X number of dollars because I've worked really hard at it. It's much more complex than that. But if you work at raising the perceived value to your clients and prospective clients, through your credits, through your experience, through your skill, through your service, you will begin to see your income rise as people are willing to pay you more and more for your work. Thanks for checking out this video. My purpose, my mission is help to equip and empower and to give you the knowledge to be able to grow and have a profitable and fulfilling voiceover career. And I wish you the very best.